People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People7 on Twitter and YouTube, people elsewhere or on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com, and my soaps, Purple Butterfly soaps, can be located at people.etsy.com. And I was going to show you how I line this, and then my nurse sent me a message saying my PINR test is tomorrow instead of today, and that, of course, ruined the video because it takes the phone as priority since it is a telephone like that. So I'm going to do all this again. So you're going to drape your plastic wrap over your mold. This works very well with a wooden mold and a PE mold. I've never tried this on a silicone mold because they generally tend to release themselves. You take your handle. You must have a handle for this method to work seamlessly, otherwise it's just going to be a bunch of drama for you. And you drop your handle in there. I put my fingers in the way just so it can slide down very slowly, because if it goes too fast, then it will bunch up in a way that you're not necessarily anticipating. Now what I do is I take some tape, freezer tape, painter's tape, masking tape, duct tape, just any kind of tape. I've done this with cellophane tape. And you're going to go over those edges. I usually choose 3. You could choose 4, but 3 sections are good, especially since this is going to be taped again when we put the inner liner in. So if it's too much tape, they tend to fight. You know what I mean? Now, I'm doing the sides first, and then we'll do the corners, or the straight way rather, and then we'll do the corners. Oh, also, it might be helpful that if you had a couple of headbands. Now, the one side is already taped down. The other side, you're going to use that to press and make sure that it's even on both sides, okay? And then tape it down. Because if there's a little bubble, and I can actually show you an example of one of the tapes that had a bubble. See that? It looks like a rounded edge. Since that was a corner, and it was in a corner, that should have been a corner, but it made a rounded edge because it was kind of suspended in place. But that's fine because that's actually how I wanted it to do. But if you want a corner to corner perfect edge, then you want to make sure you get that all the way down. Now, just for good measure, you press in the middle while you do the edges there. Okie dokie. And it's almost unnecessary to do the sides, but because you can wrap the sides around. But I'm just kind of persnickety that way. Push that down on that side before you tape it. And I'm going to show you why that is in a second. I'm going to pull that up. So that way, it doesn't make the big old pocket. Now, because my mold is actually in use over here, I'm going to go ahead and use the wrapper. This is contact paper that is, well, look at it. It's like 20 years old, has no smoothness to it whatsoever. It's you know, basically, if you had contact paper like this, normal people would throw that out because, as you see with all those gaps, those are pockets that, you know, doesn't make a smooth transition onto the surface because it no longer sticks. But that being said, I cut it literally. Well, this one got recut. But I cut it from this edge to this edge ideally. This is not going to go over that edge because it was a double cut to get it right. Here's one over here. You know, as soon as I wash that out and everything, you'll be ready to use again. And you very carefully lift up that, you know, little lining for the plastic. You're not going to fold it, but you are going to round it out, and you slide that down. Sometimes I put the handle right back in it just to give myself a little leverage, like that. And that's the tape. And now you're going to take some more tape, and this you will have to hold down because it will not cooperate otherwise. And I'll put one here and one here. And then I come over this side, and I do the same thing. Now I'm pressing down in the center, and I hate when that happens. But since I'm doing this on the contact paper, which releases, literally, it doesn't stick, it's just there to show you, so it's not cooperating because, you know, contact paper doesn't stick to the stuff that's used to release it. So use your imagination, if you will, that this is some contact paper that's facing up, sticky side up. The sticky side goes towards the soap, not the wooden frame. Okay? Now, I'm just going to go ahead and put some more on there since I know that I'm going to stick. It's already trying not to stick. Alrighty? Now pretend that's just the corners and pretend that's just plastic and pretend it's sticking. Like this one here. Okie dokie. You see how that works? Look at the sides. That perfect door. Okay, Debbie Thomas actually inspired me to do this. She has one piece of contact paper going this way and then another one going this way, and then you can literally lift up both sides. Well, I have a limited amount of resources, and only contact paper I have is literally this piece, so I wanted to do the method, but I know for a fact I don't have enough on both sides to do it. Now I'm going to take the headband, literally, and just wrap that around. And I generally do that twice. Usually I have one piece of the headband for the edges and the other for, well, one part for the edges and one part for the sides. So, like I said, you have to use your imagination and pretend that that's, you know, attached. Because, like I said, this ain't going to stick, as you can tell. And then I just very gently, one corner, lift that up. And then you have a perfectly lined mold. And then when you go to put the soap in it or whatever, anything that would have seeped on the side, especially if you're using a soap with a SS4, which is a sodium solution, or a sodium lactate, which is going to make a hard soap, it's going to slide on the side, and you're going to use these edges to pull the soap straight up. It might even buckle on those edges, but the soap itself will come out of there. So that's how I did that. And I'm going to put this right here, So that way when I release this soap, I could just slide that right back in there. And like I said, the sticky side is right here. So I'm just going to slide that down. And if there's any mess that was going to be gotten from, you know, the soap being beveled over at the edge, like right there, that's from, you know, the soap that hit the corners. As you can tell, that's not a problem. It slid right out the way. And then I'll just slide that out. This is literally ready to go on the cutter and be cut. Ta-da. Now, this soap actually started separating when it was in the mold, and I used a stick blender to, you know, like get it back to trace. So there's a couple of these pieces where the stick blender picked up some pieces, so forth and so on. So there's no big whoop. That part is literally going to just get cut off when I make this soap. Now, those little pieces right there, I got two choices. I can either cut that into samples, or I could put it in my rebatch mode, because I do not throw away anything. So this little teeny piece of soap is not going to get tossed. It will just go right back into the mode. What is that? There's something sticking on the bottom of this. Oh, there. Okay, now, let's go back to this trusty mode here. And since I didn't pH test this, I will be washing my hands relatively soon, because if there's any, if the pH isn't right, then I'm going to have an issue. Okay. Now let's get all those little pieces of soap out of there, if there are any. I'm looking at something that's on the underside of this, so it don't matter. And now I take and, you know, especially when you're making the same kind of soap, it's no big deal. Just go ahead and put this right back in here. And you see how perfectly this fits. Just put that down there. And one of the reasons why I'm doing it this way is because I want to show you what it looks like when you're putting the lid on. Because the whole trick in getting it to seal properly is what you do after you get it situated this way. So, now that it's completely in there, lift up your mold, and as you can tell, it's perfect, you know. The only thing missing now is the hood, the lid, rather. So, say for instance, I just filled this up with soap. Now we're going to take a piece of plastic wrap, well, this one I do, since it's already here. Now, generally, people go, well, why you use plastic wrap? It's got a lid on it. Right. That means this raw surface will be touching your soap, and if it lifts up too quickly or if it's not completely molded, that's going to stick to your soap, which is why you use plastic wrap. And because this is plastic that's facing up, when you go like this, it sticks to that plastic and forms a seal. So then when you put your, that way when you put your soap in it, especially if you know, did the proper amount of leeway, so then it won't even hit the top of your soap when you fill it up, because, you know, you left enough leeway. And then you end up with this. Ta-da. And it won't compromise your soap that's in there. And you can take your secondary band and seal that down. So that way, if you had a soap that wanted to expand and, you know, I want to try the volcano, it has no place to go. It's completely held within there. And that's my technique for sealing my mold and ensuring that it reaches place. So I hope this has been helpful to somebody. This is People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. And my soap, Purple Butterfly Soap, can be located at people.etsy.com. I'm going to go cut up my plain white vegan soap, and y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. Bye now. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe.